up, guys? Welcome back. This is part 4 of our posing potential series. We're here at Precise Fitness and Nutrition in their posing studio. I'm back again with my lovely model, Mitch, owner of Black Metal Athletics. And today we're going to talk about the 7 compulsory poses. All right, we're only doing 7. Typically there's 8 to 9, depending on who you ask. We're not going to do most muscular or favorite classic. I'm going to touch on those at the end. So what this is going to be is just like the quarter turns. The quarter turns basically set the foundation for the compulsory poses that you're about to see. All right. Just like the quarter turns, the judges will call you out. You'll be online. You'll have to hit these shots in whatever order they call them. So we're going to show you what they are, and we're going to show you some tips and tricks for them today. All right. Starting first, we're going to do all the front poses. So let's start with the front double bicep. Okay, so front double bicep. Go ahead and relax your upper body. So first, again, always pose bottom up, never top down, all right? Same thing with the quarter turns. You're gonna set your feet, application of force through the ground, spread them apart, all right? So what Mitch is doing is he's actually either right or left leg, coming up on his toe and setting it almost like he's gonna kick a soccer ball, all right? He's pushing through the floor, tearing it apart, same thing. With classic, sometimes he'll get into a little bit of a hip shift or a hip tilt to try to hide the waistline a little more. Because if you see Mitch, he has more narrow clavicles and a little bit of a wider hips here. So what he'll do is he won't stand straight on. He'll actually stand a little off center so he can hide some of that and create the illusion of a smaller waist with bigger legs, bigger lats, more of an X frame. All right. So that's pretty much it for setting the legs, right? Then from there, just like the quarter turn, elongate the torso, chest up, right? Obviously arms up here. Now what we're gonna do is externally rotate backwards as much as we can to try to bring out more peak in that bicep. Remember, thumbs in the fist, right? One common mistake I see people make on this is they move their legs way too far out or way too close. All right, so just like that front quarter turn, if you have good adductors, or even if you don't, depending on your leg size, basically, you judge how close or how far that you can move your legs, but you always want at least the top of your adductors right here touching each other, all right? I use that as my general guideline when I'm talking about a front double pose or most of the shots on my front, most of my front poses, okay? So that's the front double bicep. Next, we're gonna go into the front lat. So this is a front lat spread. A little bit different foot positioning on this. Extremely similar to the quarter turn, right? So we're basically now looking at a quarter turn, a front relaxed pose, which is this, but now we're here, right? Into a lat spread. The same exact thing. That's why I say like the quarter turns are the foundation for the rest of your poses, which is probably why they're first in the first place. So again, same thing with the feet. He's more straight on this, pushing down to the floor, spreading out, right? Torso up tall, flexing the legs. Now, for this, when he's grabbing, and it's gonna become more apparent when we go to a lat spread, but he's grabbing as much meat as he can on his back and rolling forward, all right? The more surface area you can grab back here and roll into it, the better the shot's gonna look, the better you're gonna be able to flare your lats. So instead of, so he's grabbing deep in the back here. Instead of grabbing, say like way out front, he's not gonna be able to lock down on his lats as much as he could as if he grabbed down here. All right, so again, chest up, head up, smiling. He's got the poise, the presence, the elegance. He looks beautiful. All right. Next pose we're going to go into is an ab and thigh. Okay, abdominal and thigh pose. This one you can start getting a little more variation on, all right? This one you can play with a lot more than some of your more traditional poses like the front lat spread, in my opinion. So again, foot positioning where the adductors still touch. You typically bring your feet closer together. Instead of going on that soccer ball form for the front double because your legs aren't spread out, you're now inside. So you're shifting to the outside of that front foot. All right? Flex the legs, come up, arms overhead. Now you're flaring the lats and you're crunching down on the midsection, but you're not leaning excessively forward or excessively backwards. All right, so a lot of guys, when they hit the ab and thigh, they'll crunch in and they'll get really, really far forward, and it makes their lats look really small and they lose that nice X frame. So you want to hit it, stand up, stand tall. When you're shredded and you have abs, they're going to be there anyway. So like Mitch is like 12 weeks out and his abs are already showing in that shot. Right, so it looks great. Like I said, he's doing a little bit of the hip shift here, which is more of an individualistic play on it. If you want to hit it more straight on, you can. But this is a pose where you can get into a lot of like nuanced variation. All right, you could do roll on the outside of the foot like he does. You could do straight flex leg. Sort of depends on what your structure and symmetry looks like. There's a lot of ways to play with this pose, and that's what kind of makes it fun. All right, next we're going to go into 2 side shots. So first we got the side chest pose. Okay, so on these, we're now drawing our base from the quarter turns from the side here, right? So with the feet, again, he's got 1 foot up, 1 foot on the floor, which is different than the quarter turns. But how we talked about pushing that knee into that front that back knee into that front hamstring helps him further accentuate the hamstring. On this is a pose where a lot of guys try to flex the quad and leg very hard, and that's actually not what you want on this pose. You want that knee to be shoved in that hamstring so it pops nicely here. And if anything, the only thing you're flexing is the glutes and maybe the calf. All right, leave all this alone. Let your body just kind of push and create the separation that's going to be there anyway when you're lean. So he's there from the bottom, and then up top, just like the quarter turn from the side, he rolls into it. His shoulders are relatively in line. He's trying to close as much gaps as he possibly can. So he's driving this bicep into this pec. He's squeezing his chest. He's squeezing his arms. You can play with the rotation of your hand here to accentuate the bicep in different ways, right? Now, a common mistake I see with this one is mainly on these side transitions, they let the gut go, all right? So when they go to roll into a side chest, you wanna show them, they don't control their breathing. They're not breathing up and down, they're breathing in and out of their stomach because they're fatigued, which is usually due to a lack of practice. And it completely throws off the aesthetics of your physique, the symmetry of your physique and everything. So be cognizant of that. That's one of my pet peeves on side shots. Rolling into that side chest, keeping that midsection tight. When you go in, pull it and lock it in. All right. Next, we're going into a side tricep. So foot position wise, absolutely nothing has to change here. It's literally the same foot positioning as a side chest. The same, driving that back knee into the front hamstring. You're not flexing the leg, you're flexing the glutes and the calf. All right, this is where that lateral torso rotation is gonna play a major part, right? So typically very, very large guys with poor mobility can't even get into enough rotation here to lock in a side tricep to where it looks good. As far as hands, a lot of mistake people make, or a common mistake people make, is they try to interlock one hand into the other and push down like this, right? But a lot of guys don't have the mobility for that. So what you can do is just use 2 fingers, maybe use 1 finger. 2 fingers is preferred. It gives you a little more accentuation here on the side when you lock in that pose.
Let's see this one.
Yeah, or guys, like Mitch said, try to lock in at the, finger to finger.
You can get around.
Makes it very, very hard to get around and actually get into that position to lock anything in, right? That's why I typically use the 2 fingers. Come down, boom, you're right there. It's easy to lock into. All right, same thing. Breathing up and down, chest nice and tall. He's locking down on this back arm here. And yeah, I mean, that looks great. Side triceps, pretty simplistic. Next, we're gonna go into our back poses. So let's start with a back double bicep here. So this pose is gonna be exactly the same as the front double with just some nuanced differences, all right? So you learn how to hit the front double, the back double is the same, you're just spun around, and there's minor differences. So one of the major differences is instead of one leg being in front of the other, you know, from the front, when you go to the back, one leg is a little bit behind the other. So you can see that Mitch's right leg is a little bit now behind his left leg. Application of force to the ground stays the same. Let's talk real quick about the hips. A lot of guys will really poke their ass out. A lot of guys will squeeze their glutes and go really far in. It just kind of depends again on how much it accentuates or takes away from your adductors and everything going on with the lower body. It could make it harder to set your legs. And by that I mean it could make it harder to engage the hamstrings properly, keep it in alignment. You may cause a shift if you got some imbalances, right? And then up top, going to the pose now. Up top, again, like the rear relaxed, a lot of guys will bend really far right here in the mid-back, create a ton of lines right here. And almost like showcasing the judges, hey, I have skin, hey, I have like some maybe subcutaneous water or fat here. What you want to do is lean back slightly at the torso. All right. And the Mitch is getting really open. One of the other common mistakes I see in this pose is people trying to squeeze their scapula together, right? So that is the last thing you want to do. Don't squeeze your scapula together. Open it up all nicely. Lats flared, arms up. And again, this is actually extremely similar to the front double, how you're externally rotating on the front double to accentuate the bicep. You're externally rotating again on the back double to accentuate the bicep, right? Shoulders are in line, so everything looks great. All right, now we're gonna go into a rear lat spread, which again, the front lat spread, rear lat spread, front double bicep, rear double bicep, they're all extremely similar poses, all right? There's just very nuanced differences between them. So on the front lat spread, Mitch would typically hit his legs straight on, straight in line. On the rear lat spread, he's doing the same leg positioning that he does in the back double, right? Where his right leg is slightly behind his left leg. Sorry, I forgot directions there for a second. The hip stuff's the same. This is almost exactly the same as the rear double bicep, right? If you can figure that one out, you can figure this one out. Again, he's trying to grab as much meat back here when he starts as he possibly can, because he's gonna be oily, he's gonna be sweaty. So he can roll it forward without it slipping, without him losing anything, and be able to clamp down on these lats as hard as he possibly can. Again, he's leaning back at the torso, not leaning back very heavily in the mid-back, causing it to crease. He's opening up nice and wide, he's not squeezing anything. This pose looks great. So that was the end of our 7. Again, there's a total of technically 9, depending on 8 if you're talking bodybuilding. There's only 5 if you're talking about classic, but I say 9 total, as in 9 that I would categorize. We're leaving off most muscular and favorite classic shots. The reason we're doing that is because, in my opinion, they're highly individualistic. All right. Again, depending on your muscularity, your symmetry, your aesthetics, what you hit for, and there's so many favorite classic poses, right? What you hit for your shot may look amazing on you, may look absolutely terrible on Mitch, may look absolutely terrible on me. What I hit may look garbage on you, vice versa, you get it. Same thing with most muscular. There's about, to my knowledge, like anywhere from 4 to 6 variations of most muscular. And they're all very individualistic, right? So those are ones that you kind of look at on your own. Or when you come to us for coaching, we help guide you towards those poses. Again, it's gonna be something to the effect of like, based off your structure, I could see you similar to X, Y, or Z bodybuilder. Let's try a couple of their favorite classic poses on you, see how it looks. Or, let's try a couple different most muscular shots on you, see which one we like better. That's where you're getting into the individualistic eye and you're getting more for your money when you come to us for posing, because you already know the mandatories, so we can spend more time, the mandatories and compulsories, so you can spend more time on the individualistic pieces, like the transitions, like the favorite classic or most muscular shot that looks best on you. So that's it for this video, guys. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We got more videos coming at you very soon. No off switch, twisted steel and sex appeal. Check out Black Metal Athletics. Wow, I cannot say that. Black Metal Athletics when you get the chance. And thanks, guys.